Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that you people are doing well. In the last couple of lectures, we have been discussing this chapter. It is on customer relationship management, and we are looking at this chapter from the perspective of internet marketing, and especially when we are referring to internet marketing related to cloud. So we discussed a couple of really important topics, and where we paused was on when we were discussing loyalty cards or loyalty programs. Now, loyalty programs are one of the major methods of customer retention. If you want to retain your customers, you have to devise various loyalty programs. And one of the methods is, of course, the old method of offering loyalty cards to your customers. Now, it has many benefits. The major benefit is that the moment you offer a loyalty program or a loyalty card, an old method, to your customers, you are somehow acquiring data from the customers. You are getting information related to the customers from the customers by the customer themselves, and that is very interesting, that the customers willingly give you information, and most of those information that the customer provide to you are normally used by companies for marketing purposes. So that's why, just a quick recap of what loyalty card is or loyalty programs are. These are the programs offered by the companies to customers who are willing to provide information, and because of being a member of that program, the customers are offered different incentives every now and then in the form of discounts, in the form of special privileges, and so on and so forth. And we discussed it in length. Today, we are going to start with personalization of these programs or personalization of loyalty cards. Three different methods are there that the companies may choose from to personalize their loyalty programs. Now, understand what is personalization first. Personalization is something that in many books it is also called customization, but when we say personalization, we refer to programs. When we say customization, we are referring to product. So, customization or personalization, is something, well, let's use British English. Customization or personalization is designing your program specific to the needs of customers. Now, designing your loyalty programs or designing your card based on the needs and wants of the customers. It means that the customers are given options to choose from your loyalty programs. And a common example of that would be the customer can opt for a normal, simple, silver loyalty programs, or the customer can opt for a gold loyalty programs, or the customer can opt for a platinum or a diamond loyalty programs. These are the personalization that you're offering to the customers. The three methods explained in your book is, the first one is the rule-based, that if and then. Now, if and then is those of you who know computers or a little programming, it would be very simple for you to understand. If and then is a rule where a customer have to fulfill certain criteria, a customer have to meet certain requirements, then that rule would be applied to them. For example, a customer have to buy 200 ringgits worth of products, then 5 ringgit discount would be given to them. And that is very common that we have seen even in these online stores like Lazada and Shopee or Amazon or eBay. You may have noticed that you have vouchers, and those vouchers or those discount vouchers have the if and then rule applied there, that you would be given 5 ringgits discount only if you buy 100 ringgits or more worth of product from our shop, or you'd be given free delivery if you buy certain amount, if you fulfill certain criteria. So that is what if and then. Then user control, which means that the customer have a control over the program in terms of what information is provided in the registration form. So there are two types of forms that we are aware of one type of form or one type of questions in the form is with the star or with the static. And normally it's a very common method where the questions or the forms with the stars are compulsory to fill. Without filling those information, without filling those questions, your forms or your questionnaire or your registration form would not be accepted. And there are other types of forms where the customers are asked to willingly provide information. So those information or that information is not compulsory without the star or without the static. So user control, user have a bigger control over uh, the selection of the program that they are opting for. Then information driven. Now information driven programs are those programs which changes with the changes in the profiles of the customers, which changes with the changes in the likeness and dislikeness of the customer. So as the information that the company receives from the market changes, the style or the way the program, the loyalty programs are designed by the company also changes. So the profiles are there, but as the profiles of the customers changes, you see that the model responding to those profile also changes. An example of that would be change in, say, your mailing address. So the mailing address, which is an update in the profile of the customers, if your mailing address changes, you will see that different models would be applied to you. For example, different regional office would be assigned to you, or you would be assigned to different regional office. And the common example again of that would be when you buy a product from a company in one location and then you change or move to another location. You may have noticed that the company would transfer your file to the location where you have transferred. And to give an example of my own personal example, for instance, I bought a water filter. Here we have Koei water filter. Some of you may already know about it. So the water filter Koei that I bought, I was somewhere else, but then I moved to another place, and when I moved to another place, my file was transferred to the location where I moved to. So the different rules, different promotions, and different models applied to me then. So this is what we say information driven models. Data provided by the users are checked by the company, and based on the data that the customer provide, the models of personalization are applied. Now, loyalty programs are extremely important. As I mentioned to you, that loyalty programs are something that is considered the main reason of retaining customers. Some of the times, the companies design loyalty programs in such a way that the customers, even at times unintentionally, are retained, which is not very good. But these are the methods through which loyalty programs. These are the methods, or these are the consequences of the loyalty programs. Now, there is a problem with the loyalty program, specifically when we talk about loyalty apps or loyalty cards. The problem is that we already know that these loyalty programs are there. By the way, these loyalty program originally started in around 1970s by American Airlines. For the first time, uh, it was designed for the airlines companies, and they called it frequent flyer programs. We still have almost in all the airlines frequent flyer programs, but from there it got so much fame, and it got acceptance widely in the market that other industries have also used loyalty programs that were introduced in 1970s by American Airlines. And now we know that organizations and industries around the globe are using loyalty programs with different twists, with different models. So loyalty cards have been originally, and we still have loyalty cards It gained a lot of popularity. People like loyalty cards, but the problem, I was referring to the problem with the loyalty programs or the loyalty cards are specifically that we have a lot of loyalty cards being customers. So if I'm a customer, you will see that I will have a loyalty card of, say, the gas station that we're talking about. We have Petron, we have Petronas, we have Shell. So you will see that the Caltex, for example. So you see that I have the loyalty cards of all of them. Now, the problem is, which one am I loyal to? That is a question that you have to ask, and that is the question that the companies have to search for. That a customer in a market, the same customer in a market, have a loyalty card of Tesco, have a loyalty card of Giant, have a loyalty card of Jesco, for example. But which one are you loyal to? That's why they say that even though there's a increase in the loyalty cards over the number of years, and almost everybody have a loyalty card. If you compare your own self with yourself 10 years ago, you will see that 10 years ago you had fewer loyalty cards than now. My loyalty cards, maybe now virtual loyalty cards as well, since the companies have moved more towards virtual loyalty cards now, or we call it loyalty apps, which we'll be covering in a couple of slides ahead. So just stay tuned. Now, on average, people have around 29 loyalty cards. In average, in the United States, the research was conducted that people usually have a lot of loyalty cards. The number may not be exactly 29 for all, but you see that people have a lot of loyalty cards with them. An example I gave you, that I have personally the loyalty card of Big, I have Aeon Jesco, I have Tesco. I have a loyalty card of all these stores, but which one am I loyal to? You see that out of 29 out of 29 loyalty cards that an average household and an average customer has, only 12 of them are active. So that is a big difference, that which means that out of 3 loyalty cards, hardly one loyalty card would be active. So you have the loyalty card of Shell, Petron, Petronas, Caltex, and you will have all these different type of cards, but only one would be active. And that is something that, being a company, being a business, we should be worried about, because it's not only which means that it's not only offering customers loyalty cards, which means that it is not only asking customers to give you their personal information. It is more than that. And what is it? That the customer may give you information, or the customer willingly give you information, but the customer is still not your retained customers. The customer have your loyalty card, the customer have subscribed to your loyalty card, and that's why there are other topics like we have dormant customers or sleeping customers, how to reactivate those customers. There are different topics in the marketing focusing on these topics as well. But for now, understand and know that if you have a company and you offer loyalty programs, don't be surprised if your customers have the loyalty cards of your competitors in the pocket as well. Now, the benefit of internet and the benefit of especially these handheld devices are that now the loyalty cards, which were previously hard loyalty cards in the form of hard copy loyalty cards, physical loyalty cards, are now changing or have changed to virtual loyalty cards or soft loyalty cards. And now we have mobile loyalty cards as well. Now, mobile loyalty cards have many benefits. The benefits of the pros and cons both are there. The positive, of course, the biggest positive, that which is not even here, of mobile loyalty card, the biggest benefit of mobile loyalty card, which is not even given in your slide, would be environmental protection, or green. Yeah, the cards which are loyalty cards, which are virtual loyalty cards, which are soft loyalty cards, The benefit of these loyalty cards are they are green in nature, so they don't have a lot of environmental impact protection. I would write impact as well. So it does not have a lot of impact on the environment since they are virtual and soft in nature. So that's why that is the biggest advantage that we can think of. Plus, apart from that, you will see that it has lower cost. Of course, the cost of production have reduced significantly since you're not producing physical cards. And on top of that, you can design you can design these virtual cards as many as you want based on customers preferences. So customer personalization is of high level here. When we say mobile cards or mobile loyalty cards or mobile loyalty programs, so there is a high level of personalization there. When there is a high level of personalization there, it makes customer engagement highest as well. So customers are also engaged. Well, apart from that, when since these are mobile activated cards, or these are connected cards or connected programs, so you see that the company and you are connected at all times compared to the physical hard copy cards. The hard copy cards used to be in your pocket, and you could only get engaged with the company, or the company could only get engaged with you once you go and visit the company, and then you show them or you present your card to them. But now that you have mobile loyalty cards, even though you're not visiting the company can still stay in touch with you. And some of you may have, or all of you may have. I do have some uh, loyalty program apps of different companies, and I noticed that some of these companies I have not visited in years. I'll give an example of airline companies, for example. Those of you who have, for example, the mobile app of Air Asia or Emirates or any other airlines, you may have noticed that because of the pandemic, we have not traveled for a very long time, but the company is still in touch with me. They are pushing notification, they are pushing different promotion, and this is the beauty of mobile loyalty programs. So the companies have more options to get engaged with the customers, and the customers get more options of personalization. Plus, you have higher level of differentiation, brand differentiation as well. You can see previously the cards were just same simple standard card size for all the companies, and of course the names were different. Take an example of your credit and debit cards. These cards are exactly the same size and shape throughout the world, everywhere in the world. The names and the colors are different, but when it comes to mobile loyalty programs, then you can have a lot of personalization, a lot of differentiation, a lot of special features related to your company attached with it, making it different than the rest of the market. So that options of brand differentiation increases there. The importance of apps, social media, and cloud in CRM. So we would be, well, mobile apps we slightly touched on as well, but mobile apps, there are some negative points of mobile apps as well. We'll be talking about social media, and you will also be talking about cloud. Now, mobile apps are the apps that are developed for the handheld devices, and they're connected and they are related to the companies. Social media is social media. We're referring to all the media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on, where people are connected and people are willingly providing information. And cloud is a form of storage technology in external server or an external hardware somewhere, somewhere that you may not be aware of where it is, but it stores your information somewhere in the air, and that's why it is called cloud. And the air means that it is not in your physical vicinity, it is somewhere else. So the app, social media, and the cloud, and the role of these in customer relationship management, all of these have a direct relationship with customer relationship management. We know that over the period of time, the number of developed apps, the number of programs, well, program means apps offered by the companies to the platforms have increased significantly. In fact, if you check at the latest graph, if you check at the latest statistics, you'll find out that people using internet, or people using apps, or people using programs on handheld devices, especially phones, smartphones and tablets, have significantly increased compared to desktop computers. Previously, the desktop computers were the one that people would use for using apps or using programs. Now, the non-gaming apps, the introduction of non-gaming apps have surged, have increased over the last couple of years. In fact, over the last more than a decade now, that people are now using more non-gaming apps. And when we say non-gaming apps, we are referring to branded apps. Branded apps are apps that are related to companies, they are related to organizations that you have installed, rather than a particular game. So that's why they call it branded apps related to a particular brand. It have increased. You see the number have jumped significantly from 65 to 182 over the span of only 5 years. Now, there is a problem. The problem is that even though we do install and download branded apps or apps related to companies, they still are not famous compared to the gaming apps or compared to the entertainment apps. And it makes sense as well. Most of us use handheld devices either for social media, and that's why you see that the social media platform is on the top social media, or we are using for most of the time for leisure purposes, and often for business purposes as well, or handheld devices like smartphones. So normally, why would we use a branded app or an app related to a company on our phone? We would normally use to check for some promotions, to check for some vouchers if they have sent us, or to check when we are there in the store. So the same rule applies, that when we go to the store, we take out the loyalty card, the physical card that we have, and you present it to the company, and the company normally use that card in a particular encounter. The same is applied for the mobile app, that we use the mobile app when we are there in the store to make a transaction, or when we are when we have a purchase encounter. But the benefit I told you over the physical cards are that we have it in our pocket all the time, and it is virtual, it is environmentally green, and plus it has a high level of engagement where the companies can engage with you at all the times. Now, branded apps like the apps of eBay or Walmart. Here, for example, we have the app of Lazada, Shopee, or Tesco. How often you have used these? And you see that the unique visitors are not that many. Even if there are many, again, it is not about installing an app. It's not about downloading your company's app. It's about customers using that app frequently as well. Branded apps are one of the methods through which you can retain the customers. We already discussed, through which you can stay in touch with the customers, through which you can engage the customers. Because if you manage to engage with the customers at regular intervals, you will see that the customer will buy from you at the time the need arises. So most of the time we have to remind the customers that we are there, being a company. That's why companies around the globe are marketing their products, even though we know them. And I normally give example of McDonald's and KFC and Pepsi and Coke and all these big companies. Why do they still market them, even though all of us know about them? Because being a customer, consumer behavior theory says that, consumer psychology says that we would forget about them if they do not remind us that they are there. So branded apps help you remember them even though you remember them. So because if they stop reminding about their self, you'll forget them. Now, research also shows that customers normally don't prefer to download an app of the company if it does not offer you variety of benefits. So there is a key takeaway for us, for all of us, that if you want to offer a mobile app for your company, you make sure that there are certain ingredients of stickiness for the customers, that the customers are engaged with your app. If it is a simple company app, customers would normally not use them, and that's why you go to your smartphone, in the settings you go and check the statistics of the apps that you have and the usage of those apps. You will see that more than 70% of the apps on your phone, you actually hardly use them. You don't actually use them. That's why the mobile, your smartphone, some of the brands that we have, they would every now and then give us an alert that you have not used ABC app for say 2 months, and it is just lying there and it is using a lot of space. So do you suggest to delete it? So you see, these kind of notifications are now automatic by the smartphones. Why? Because the research also shows that we people do not download retail apps. By retail you mean the stores, but I'm making it generic, making it general, that even the company's app, any company's app, we are very slow to download them. And even if you download them, we normally don't use them. So how would you make a customer use your app? What should you do so that you have a branded app, an app which is not an entertainment app, but still the customers use them? Of course, you have to include things related to customers' preferences, customer likeness. You have to add things related to entertainment. That's why a lot of apps, branded apps or companies' apps, now I've noticed that they are including games in it, they are including songs in it, they have a lot of different things that they are offering to the customer so that the customer download and the customer use them. Now downloading, of course, it's an easy thing still, that of course you tell the customer that download my app, and after downloading, you, the Domino's do that, right? You download and install my app, you get 2 pizzas free, or the first transaction is free. So that's the biggest motivation for people to make them download. But for me, it's not only letting them download the app, rather you are finding out methods through which they don't only download the app but also use your app at regular intervals. In 2015, 60% of consumer had fewer apps, retail apps. But now, out of them, 21% had no retail apps. And this is interesting. This is the research of 2015. I'm sure that it has changed significantly, and now that we are moving toward more internet-oriented world, you will see that the world is connected, the things are connected, and all these retail stores have their own apps now. Do most branded apps give customers a compelling reason to download and retain them? Now, this is a question that you should ask, that you download an app, why and what is the reason that you're downloading an app? It must be a compelling reason. There must be something for you being a customer that motivates you to download an app. Otherwise, why would you download an app of a company? A good branded app is an app that gives you useful information, that gives you benefits, that provides you value in the form of different type of offers or coupons. It is easy to use, and the experience of customer is seamless. Now, seamless means that the companies have successfully integrated things. For example, you book something using the company's branded app, you visit the store and they already know that you have booked it. So this is what we call seamless experience. You have put a comment there in the branded app or the app of the company, you go there, you don't have to repeat yourself to them, they already know that you have done that. That is what we call seamless experience. So the key point here is that if you're designing your company's app for loyalty, make sure that there are compelling reasons for the customers to give you their personal data. Otherwise, customers will not give you their personal data. Now let's move to, these were about the apps. So apps are important. Nowadays, we cannot deny the importance of apps. Being a company, you need to have apps for loyalty because it is green and it is an easy method to engage with the customers. But on the other side, there are downsides where the company spend a lot of money to develop apps, but these apps are not serving any purpose, or they are not of any benefit to the company or to the customer. So include some benefits for the company and for the customers. Now, moving towards social CRM. Now, CRM is customer relationship management. That is what the chapter is. Social CRM means that using social media platforms, so it's already there, using social media platforms to build relationship with the customers. I'll write it here. Customer relationship management. Yeah. So using relationship, using social media platforms to build relationship with customers. They have also mentioned not only relationship but engage customers. Of course, building relationship engagement is one of the key things that you have to do. Let's go and check. How do we add social media data to customer relationship management databases? Now, customer relationship management itself is a method through which you build relationship with customers by acquiring data from them and then replying to the customers, keeping in mind their data. Now that we are living in a time where most of the customers around the globe have social media profiles, it gives companies more chances of getting rich data from customers. The data that the customers are willingly providing on their social media platforms. And this is something very, very important for you to understand. When companies ask customers to give data on them, the customers give data, but often the data may not be accurate data. The customers may not give you correct data. But when the customers provide the data on their social media platforms willingly, most of the time the data is accurate data. So it is important for the companies to find out a mechanism to get the social media data of the customers to their CRM databases and then analyze the data acquired from social media profiles. That's why most of these apps will ask you to like their Facebook page or follow them on Instagram or like this and that, or they will ask you for permission to access your social media profiles. Even nowadays, the companies would almost all the good companies who have read these books, they would have an option. If you are the first time visitor of their app or of their web page, you will see that they will have an option of making an account, which means that you provide the information by yourself, or log in using your Facebook or Twitter or Gmail. Have you noticed that? Why? Because once you do that, you're giving permission to the company to access your social media data. And once the company access your social media data, then the companies have really, really fresh, rich, and important information on you. that they can use to market to you their product the way you want to see. And then there is a lot to this. Social media marketing is a subject that I've designed recently as for the masters, and I think for the undergraduate to be offered as well. So you see that social media marketing or social media and the data that the companies get from social media is really rich data for the companies. They can use the data to market the product based on the likeness and dislikeness of the customers. Where did you check in? What did you search? What did you like? What do you follow on social media? All these simple things, for you it is simple, but for the company these are very important information to know about you and then to market to you accordingly. Now social media, or the circle, let's read it. Social media, then companies can use it for marketing and relationship, public relation. Then support and service are provided. Even sales can be done using social media. Provide customers a good experience, make the customer your adequate. On the center of everything there are customers. That's why we call it customer centric approach. Make sure that you do everything you do around customers. That's why social media data that you acquire from customers profiles. Why do you acquire from customer profiles? Because you want to know the customers. You want customer to be the center, in the center of everything that you do. That's what we call customer centric approach. Refer to our videos on customer centricity and you would see that there is more to customer centricity, and one of the things is acquiring data from social media. So user provides permission. Let me zoom it. Users provide permission on social media profiles. They have mentioned Facebook here. User data is captured in the CRM hub, and then the data from the hub is now integrated with the other MIS. MIS is a broad term, management information system and marketing information system. The data that you acquire from customers' profiles are then used by the companies to market to them. So you see that social media plays a very important role in improving your CRM, and that's what it is written here, how social media data improves. We already discussed it actually, that you listen to the customer, you get a chance to interact with the customers and interact with the customers in real time. So this is something astonishing and phenomenal at the same time, that the customers are in touch with you in real time. Customer have a problem, you have your team, social media team there, they listen to you, they interact with you, they solve your problem. Customer problem solved means customer satisfaction. Customer problems not solved means customer defect. Customer defect increases the chance of customer switching to another company, and customer switching to another company means money going to another company from your company. So you see that social media plays a very important role in building relationship with the customers. You can of course do the traditional activities like marketing, other marketing and services and transactional. The data that the customer provides on social media give you better insights into the customer's likeness and dislikeness. It can be done business to business and business to customers or consumers as well, acquiring data, understanding customers' behavior. How does cloud, now let's move on to the cloud. How does cloud improve CRM? Now what is cloud? I told you cloud is when your data is when your program, when your platform is somewhere in an independent area, in an independent technological area. For example, it is in an independent server somewhere operated by a third party, which can be accessed from anywhere. So you have servers or hardware in your company which can be accessed only from within the company, and then you have things in the cloud which can be accessed from anywhere. An example of that would be installing Microsoft Office on your computer or using Microsoft Office 365. An example of that would be using Google Docs, which is on the cloud. So you see that in now even in real time you can use it. So if multiple people have access to that file, you can see that multiple people can work on the same file and they can see actually word coming and typed word, or for example analysis done in real time. That is the beauty of cloud. Apart from that, there are positive and negatives, by the way. Apart from that, a lot of factors. I remember I told you that I did my networking. I did my system engineering, and one of the thing that I did when I was doing Cisco engineering, I did Cisco as well. One is Microsoft, one is Cisco. I did Microsoft, and I studied Cisco as well. I didn't do the exam. I didn't take the exam of Cisco, but I completed the course of Cisco networking. And in both Microsoft and Cisco, one of the key thing was backing up the data. So in the enterprise, we had one course by the name of enterprise, and in the enterprise, one of the key thing was to take backup of your data, and we had backup devices back then. I'm talking about the time when I was very young, like 20 years ago, right? It was in 2000 I did 2000 2001 I did my Microsoft and Cisco certifications. So so back then we had backup devices, and we have tape devices, and it used to be just like those of you who remember tape recorders or VCRs to watch movies, you remember. So those kind of devices were there to record your to keep the backup, because they were considered secure and easy to retrieve in case of damage, compared to floppy drives or compared to CD drives. At that time CD backups were there. Now that problem is significantly solved when the data is there in the cloud. So your computer, for example, crashed and you have already taken a backup on cloud. You don't need to worry. You just, with one click, all the data will come back to your computer, and your new computer will look exactly the same as your previously damaged computer. And that is the beauty of cloud. So in the CRM arena, how it looks like that previously organizations, previously the marketing people had to go to the company to get in touch with the model, know about customer profile, finding out the customers. Now they, no matter wherever they are, they can get the information from the about the customer from anywhere in the world, because the information is stored in the cloud. Now, the cloud is comparatively very cheap, but of course it has some negative points as well. For example, your confidential data hacking is there, confidential data theft is there, and so on and so forth. We're not going to the negative parts now. So the cost is lower. Employee productivity have increased since you have access to the data from anywhere. So you can actually access the data from anywhere at any time using any devices. What happened? You can in real time communicate with the customer, provide you analytics. It's easy to use, it's scalable, you can increase it as much as one. Security is they have mentioned a positive, but I have my own reservation on that topic. Security in terms of previously your data theft and data damage was there, but now the data damage and theft could be reduced significantly. Okay, let's quickly move on. I'm taking a lot of time. Organizational issues in the CRM. What are the problems in the CRM? The biggest problem with the CRM is that the return on investment cannot be measured quickly. You cannot measure the return on investment quickly. Why? Because it is incremental. The process is slow. It piles up slowly. You cannot say that today you bought a CRM software or you applied CRM methods, and then tomorrow you will see drastic increase in your profitability. It takes time to increase the customer database. It increases time to build loyal customers and retain customers. So the problem is, it is difficult to measure return on investment, and the impact is incremental. It is realized over time. Other cost related, they said is difficult to measure, but I personally think that some of them are not that difficult to measure. For example, buying a hardware, the maintenance, the consultation fees, the licensing. We have different type of licenses. We have per user license, organization wide license, workstation wise workstation related license. They call it per seat license, right? Per PC license or per workstation license is there. You have to decide whether to buy a CRM software on the premises or it should be online, and we discuss the pros and cons of all of them. Another thing is a lot of companies are reluctant or skeptical about CRM implementation is because the data shows that around 70% of the CRM programs, that's what the data, that's for a long time, the data showed that 70% of the CRM programs failed. Now, when people or companies look at this 70%, that's a big number, right? And these are expensive implementations organization wide. So looking at the percentage of success, 30%, it's a lot of people say it's not worth it. And then going live, for example, they apply it on an organization base, but they don't live it. They say that a lot of companies try, but around 18 to 31% of companies do not make it live. So they just apply it and they don't see any reward. They don't see it rewarding. They don't see the employees incorporating into it. They don't see employees accepting it or organization accepting it. So they just leave it. So they don't go live. 40 to 60, 40 to 47 to 56% have reported that the return on investment is not met, which means that the amount of money that you spend on CRM and the expected return that you are expecting is not met. 47 to 56% is a lot. So that's just like tossing a coin. You do it, sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not successful. And another study says that somehow the CRM implementation, the CRM implementation in long term is not profitable. Over the span of 5 years, it does not do good to your company. So the dissatisfaction with the CRM project is very high. And that's why companies are reluctant to use CRM, even though the benefits have been reported, researched as positive benefit. But when the board of directors, when these finance people look at these numbers, they are reluctant to apply customer relationship management, even though the marketing people keep on telling them that it's the best thing to do because it gives customers seamless experience using these touch points. Touch points are all the points where the customers and the company interact in any way. For example, it can be a retail store, a phone, an email, and so on and so forth. And these are the methods through which the companies can trigger seamless experience using the touch points in the form of email, push notification, so on and so forth. Wow, that was a long chapter. But it was an important chapter. I hope that you liked and enjoyed. I didn't ask you how many of you are listening to me. Raise your hand. Well, in the last lecture that I shared with you, some of you have shown me raising the hand by liking this lecture. So I'm not going to tell you to like the lecture. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But in any case, this was an important chapter. Kindly note it down. We'll discuss it in the coming live session. Take care of yourself. See you in the coming class. Bye.